Hello everyone and welcome to Game 2 in a series between Polt versus Thorzain. Game 1, a really good back and forth match on Shattered Temple, and we'll see what will happen here in Game 2. Once again, we will be having close air spawns, Polt spawning as the blue Terran player, Thorzain spawning as the red one. So Terran versus Terran here on Shakura's Plateau, and we'll see what will come of this and what the overall strategy will be. Now, Thorzain looked like he wanted to apply early pressure, and he was able to do exactly that. But Polt, with that extra orbital command, even though he suffered a lot of worker losses during the early portion of the game, with that extra mule and the additional training of more and more SCVs, was able to get back into it and then push out with very strong timing. Both players with very similar builds so far. We'll see whether or not Thorzain once again goes for his early gas, while Polt perhaps goes for a natural expansion. Now, Shakura's Plateau, the spawning locations are pretty similar to Shattered Temple. The close-by air spawns are actually much closer on Shattered, so we'll see whether or not Thorzain opts to continue with that 1-1-1, or that variation on that 1-1-1 build, or if he tries to go for a fast command center of his own. Polt opting to go for gas. His gas is slightly faster than Thorzain's, and I'm not exactly sure why Thorzain would delay his gas at all. That does mean that Polt will have a faster factory, and Thorzain will be a little bit behind in tech, but he may have a little bit more minerals overall, as we now see about a 30 to 35 gas difference between these two players. So a 35 gas difference between these two players, that is about a 25-second difference. So the factory of Thorzain will be delayed by 25 seconds, and then relatively perhaps the starport as well. Polt continuing to get his command center, hasn't upgraded to an orbital command yet. A little bit odd with no orbital command. Not exactly sure why. It looks like Polt's timings were a little bit strange, as a factory now coming in. The factory of Polt coming in significantly faster. Now you can see that just now Thorzain has enough gas, and his factory should be coming in momentarily as well. We'll see. Right now Marines are still being added in, still no factory. This is a little bit unorthodox, as Thorzain, now sitting on close to almost 150 gas, finally gets his factory, and you see about a 35-second difference there as Polt now goes into his refinery. So Thorzain is behind. You can see that Polt already has his second gas up and running, so we could have cloaked banshees here, as both of these players have yet to scout out of their natural expansions. There's that starport. Are we going to be getting up a tech lab here? We should be getting up a tech lab in just a moment. He doesn't need the tech lab just quite yet, as the tech lab only takes 25 seconds, but he should be getting that tech lab sometime soon if he is going to be going for banshees, and what I expect is our banshees so far. There you go. In comes that tech lab. The starport is a little bit further along. Meanwhile, Thorzain getting into a command center and maybe trying to upgrade into an orbital command, but this command center is significantly delayed, and with no engineering bay, Thorzain is not going to be able to spot those banshees. Banshees still are about 120 seconds away from being cloaked at the very least, or 110 seconds away from being cloaked, and the first banshee should be trained up right about now. Nope, still needing a little bit. There we go. Now training up that first banshee. Marines are ready. However, those banshees only need 2 shots in order to fight and destroy. Thorzain opting to not get his second geyser, now finally getting it, and perhaps he's going to be going for banshees without cloak. This will help his overall mineral count, as he will have more marines, and that first banshee of Polt will essentially cost 350 minerals, 300 gas, because of that cloaking field, while Thorzain can invest in 1 banshee and also get a Viking in order to try to push back against his opponent. So far, Thorzain will be using scanner sweeps in order to detect his opponent, as we now see the Marines doing a reactor swap with the reactor swap on that add-on there, double training up more Marines, and now in comes the first Banshee from Polt. We are going into a Caduceus reactor. That means Thorzain looking to perhaps get Ravens out. SCV is taking a lot of damage so far. Marines now trying to chase after, but the Banshee moving slightly faster than those Marines, and the Banshee already up to 6 kills, looking to deal even more damage. And now there you go. There is the cloak, already getting up 8 kills, and this is a problem. Marines do need to back off. You can see that the Raven is now being added. The Raven is still about a good 30 seconds away, and Thorzain GG's once more. So Thorzain losing to a very, very easy, very early first Banshee, not having cloak. Meanwhile, Thorzain trying to do damage of his own. Oh, sorry, not having a detector, not having enough scanner sweeps. And then, meanwhile, the Banshee off over here without cloak was pretty much challenged by these Marines and completely destroyed. So a complete build order change here as Thorzain loses game 2 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.